Okay. Check to make sure I'm online. Yep, I can leave messages. I haven't even left a message yet. Oh, it reminds me of Bloodborne again. Oh, that's good. That gives you a... That seems better. Doesn't quite look as nice, but gives you an idea of what you're dealing with, or what options you have. Monstrosity. I like the word monstrosity. Okay, so back at it here. Actually, that's one thing I was thinking about this game, is they brought back the embers. I'm trying to think now. They brought back the ability to reverse hollowing, be embered anywhere. It's not like Dark Souls, where you had to do it at the Dark Souls 1, where you had to do it at the bonfire. It was kind of neat in Dark Souls 1 though, because it was kind of a risk. It was kind of like, okay, I gotta do it now. Now you can sort of do it anywhere. I would say that kind of, although that's certainly not, Dark Souls was the odd one out. It wasn't the common, that's not the common way it was done, but well, not Demon Souls, yeah, you didn't do it at the bonfire there either, I don't think. Or in Bloodborne. But it just kind of felt, I mean, that just goes along with the whole Dark Souls 1 sort of feeling of uneasiness going through that game. Like you're never really sure. I mean, I guess depends on which game you play first. If you played that game first, it really added to the uneasiness. Okay, so what do I gotta do now? Oh, I gotta go down there. Oh man, these things. Like, why put an enemy so annoying? I'm just gonna avoid it all the time. Like, I mean, I guess it's the kind of enemy, this kind of goes along with the whole Bloodborne thing, and the whole Dark Souls, Bloodborne, becoming more of an action game, where this is somewhat plays more of a role the first time through the game. Once you've gone through the game the first time, I mean, this is even assuming you play the game like I do, where I try to beat all the enemies once. I mean, I assume most people sort of play like that, or for the most part, maybe they skip a little bit, but most people try to kill the stuff in front of them. But like, once you've done it once, why do I want to fight these guys again? They're so cheap and annoying. Like, congratulations, you made this difficult enemy, but what have you accomplished? You've just accomplished an annoyance. Like, a game is not just about being difficult. Yeah, being difficult is, or a certain level of difficulty, especially in a game like this, is mandatory. You can't just feel like you're on autopilot playing. You have to feel like there's some sort of ability to lose and to die and all that. But there has to be, at the same time, there has to be a level of fun. What is this dog sniffing around? Who told you could come here? And like, when you just amp up the difficulty in an annoying way, it just becomes, well, why am I even going to fight that then? And then you start doing too much of that. Why am I even going to fight this? Why am I even going to fight that? Why am I going to play through this level? And suddenly it's, why am I even gonna play this game? It's just so annoying. Like, there has to be a balance. It's just too much. Oh. I already... Why did I do that? I already knew about this. There's a Black Knight behind here. Or a Silver Knight. I think it's a Silver Knight. He kills the enemy, yeah. I honestly can't tell at all with the colors in this game. Oh my god. Infinite stamina! When you've got infinite stamina, you never have to stop, you can just keep swinging with your infinite stamina. Oh my goodness. Speaking of annoying, Black Knight arm. Okay, it's a Black Knight. Yeah, I can't even tell. The colors are so awful in this game. I can't even tell what I'm looking. Is that a Black Knight or a Silver Knight? Like, I don't recall once. I mean, you could say possibly that it's my TV or something. The problem with that theory is I didn't have that issue in Dark Souls 1. You could always easily tell whether it was a Black Knight or a Silver Knight. It's nice to get the armor, though. But the colors are so, like, so bland and blah and Bloodborne-ish. Like, how many like, at what point are they going to be like, is this just every single game's going to have this gray, bland coloring? Like, to me, Dark Souls 2 is the way superior color choice. I mean, the actual design of the levels and that kind of stuff is one thing. Like, sure, this has got a lot of added touches to it here. Like, there's this dead guy here, and there's these tombstones, a bunch of skulls, and different patterning, a different pattern on the brick or the stone walkway here, and there's another enemy here, or dead guy here, a couple. It's not just an empty room. This doesn't look like an empty office building or something. Like, there's some personality to it, which is good. In that way, it's better than Dark Souls 2, because Dark Souls 2 tended to have this empty room effect where things were just sort of in this empty room. Especially, it felt that way in the original. It felt a little more fleshed out in Scholar. I don't know why. It may have been just more the enemies made that difference. I don't know. Or maybe it was just because of high resolution. But whatever the case, in this game, yeah, that's nice. But the coloring is so, like, how many shades of gray can we put in a game? Like, and there's so much darkness and fog. It's like it's one thing when you're making a painting or something, and you're gonna put all these artistic touches into it and that, and it's like, oh yeah, well, painting you just look at, but a game you have to interact with. You have to base your movements and your reactions off what you see. So there has to be a certain amount of light that and visibility to it, and just putting all this darkness, I'm not a fan. I don't mind, like, when it's a certain style of a level, like a particular style of a level, but when it's just like such a common theme throughout. Bloodborne definitely had the worst coloring of all. And no, people like the look of it, and in some ways it's nice. The detail of it is nice, but the coloring, like, how much... I don't understand why people like this bland, like, dark, constant dark coloring. It's just ugly. Especially when it's game after game. Like, it wasn't so bad in Dark Souls 1. But Dark Souls 1, I felt, had better coloring anyway. But anyway, okay, so back to the business and Black Knight Sword. Okay, now go through here. I wish I could play and stay focused on the game more while I'm talking. Was I one-hitting? I'm trying to remember if I was one-hitting. Man, I seem to be getting an awful lot of plain Titanite shards. I know, I'm pretty sure these things drop large, too. Oh, yeah, right, I could have upgraded, couldn't I? Yeah, because I'm +5 now, right? Yeah. Oh, well, I'm close to a bonfire. Can upgrade in a second. Yeah, what do I gotta do here? I'm a little bit surprised they retreaded these enemies. I wouldn't say they blob fire blasters. I wouldn't say that they're that interesting of an enemy. Like, when you come up with a... I will say, even though I think they maybe use them too much, the knights, like Black and Silver Knights, okay, they have a interesting move pattern, even though I don't exactly like it totally in this game, but at least they have an interesting move pattern, interesting look. It's sort of like, oh, okay, they put a lot of work into it. I can kind of see why you want to reuse that, at least a little bit. But this fire blob, I mean, what? Okay, I've come up with a design. It took me 3 seconds. Fire blob. I mean, it's not exactly a inspired design of genius. Grab a blob of Play-Doh, throw it down, it spits fire. Enemy designed. Man, I can't believe how dead this game is. Sort of... At this point, when I don't know what they're from is gonna do next. Oh, this is really... When I don't know what From's gonna do next, it's kind of worrying. I don't know if they got some good old classic Dark Souls style game. Maybe a little Kingsfield, maybe a first person RPG. I don't know if they got something good like that cooking up, or if they're just going to continue going with this action. They're slowly turning into the series into like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry or something. And then at that point it'll get to the point where I just have no interest in it. I don't really I mean, there's some things that I give credit for series like that for. I mean, it does have some things, but I'm not really super interested in those kind of games. If I can't use playthrough